Give me a minute, gang. They got me. I forgot. I just updated my settings, bro. Damn. I forgot I just updated my settings. Bro, what the fuck is going on? What I'm saying? Bro, am I tripping, bro? Oh my god, bro. This is not the time. On me. This is not the time. Alright, oh, well, y'all got that part right. So now we just gotta fix Big J. A minute and a half in, and they've already wasted some valuable time, man. Never helps but fail. So, yeah, I got the quality back up. I forgot that I had to like hit my settings with some default BS because like I had the settings right in some like in my very first videos that I made, and then the last like 6 or 7 have been kind of like a little like eh. So we got that right. Anyways, uh, still in the legendary hat, having this legendary moment in the trap, man. So we have uh Morgan Davis for the third time. This is the July update leading into August where we are now, on all the new hemp laws. So without further ado, I'm gonna let her get into it while I sit back and drink this green tea. So
here is your update for July 2025. Hey, I'm Morgan Davis. I'm a health and wellness attorney based in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's talk about how to keep your business protected and thriving. One of the biggest needs in the hemp and cannabis industry is help dealing with all the constantly changing regulations, ordinances, attorney general releases, you name it. It's really tough these days to keep up with all of it. And if you're a business owner, you gotta run your business. Keeping track of all the regulatory changes can be a full-time job. So my gift to the industry is once a month, I do these updates where I go state by state and bring to you the information that I think is most important about the biggest regulatory changes, enforcement actions, and things you need to know that are happening around the country when it comes to hemp and cannabis. Today is July 23, 2025, and here is your update. The theme for the month: you may have to fight the battle more than once to win it, said Margaret Thatcher. And if you're in the hemp space, that probably feels really true for the last 60 days.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That shit sounded like mad player. Like, damn, I'm gonna have to run that shit back. I ain't gonna hold you. Hey, what she say? Hold on, let's go.
5, and here is your update. The theme for the month: you may have to fight the battle more than once to win it, said Margaret Thatcher. And if you're in the hemp space, that probably feels really true for the last 60 days. Let's start with the federal level. Senator Mitch McConnell's road to retirement now includes a rollback of the quote-unquote federal loophole that he sponsored in 2018, i.e. the 2018 Farm Bill. We're going to discuss in a video later this month my extreme detest of the word loophole. But for now, let's just talk about what's happening at the federal level. So this summer, Congress is meeting to go through appropriations bills, because every year.
Nah, she's not lying though, bro. Cause like loophole has such a negative connotation to it. It's kind of like, it's like, oh, I'm getting away with doing something illegal that I'm not supposed to be doing. Versus like, no, I'm legally doing this and this shit is correct. Stop messing around.
They have to fund the government, right? Right now, the Senate has appropriations bills going through the Appropriations Committee in several subcommittees. And Senator McConnell has attached a total ban on almost all of the hemp industry to an appropriations bill moving through subcommittee and now moving into the Senate. The recent amendment says any product containing any quantifiable amount of THC or other psychoactive cannabinoid would be banned. It does exempt fiber products, rope, those kinds of things, anything that is not meant to be a consumable product, which, as you can imagine, based on the little bit I've just told you, would ban 99% of the existing industry. There are a lot of people who don't believe that the appropriations bill is ultimately going to come to pass, that it will be a continuing resolution. That said, it's scary language, and we already have the House appropriations bill with the Mary Miller amendment attached to it, which we've talked about earlier this year. So right now, both houses of Congress have language on bills, on must-pass bills, that would ban the majority of the hemp industry as it exists today. The difference between the House appropriations bill and the Senate bill as it's currently written is that there was a negotiation to add a manager's amendment, which would delay the enforcement of the Senate appropriation language if it were to be enacted. So the amendment advanced through the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee 27-0, which stinks. Now the full Senate must pass the appropriations bill, then it goes to the House Senate Conference. Then if finalized and accepted and agreed upon, very unlikely that that's going to happen, because I don't know if you've been watching lately, but there's not a whole lot of agreeing going on in Washington, D.C. these days. The president would need to sign it. Once enacted, if it is in the exact language it is now, it would be 1 year until it would go into effect. This was the compromise that was reached with Senator McConnell and some of the other senators who are spearheading this, that there would be a year for everyone to sort of get their act together and figure out what they're going to do next. We'll keep watching this and update you next month, as it is top of everyone's mind what's happening at the federal level, and certainly if a total ban goes into effect. I'm also going to put out a video later this month doing a deeper dive on the specifics of the language itself, and the quote-unquote loophole. Texas. It's been a wild ride in Texas, y'all. So SB 3 passed. Then it was vetoed at the 11th hour by Governor Abbott. A special session started 2 days ago, and it's already a brawl. Senate Bill 5 is the latest version of Senate Bill 3 that has been presented in the Texas Senate. It is basically a mirror for Senate Bill 3. It adds a larger regulatory framework, but still bans all products containing any cannabinoid other than CBD and CBG. It's already a fight between Governor.
Bro, what? And it's so crazy because how you might think that you actually like know what's going on in a sense, because I did know what was going on in a sense up until what she just said as far as it switching to SB 5 and damn. But I guess I shouldn't stop her in the middle of the lecture, huh? So I should save all questions to the end.
Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Governor Abbott has been on several news channels and talked to several different publications about his opinion that regulation is needed and not a total ban, whereas the Lieutenant Governor is still on his warpath to kill it all. The Senate Subcommittee for State Affairs passed the SB 5 late yesterday. It now goes to the larger committee for a vote. The belief is ultimately that the Senate in Texas will pass SB 5, and the real fight will happen in the House. Arkansas. Now, if you remember back in April, we talked about Governor Sanders signed HB 33 into law. HB 33 was a revival of Act 629, which was passed in 2023, which was almost a total ban of the hemp industry. But there was a lawsuit filed in court in Arkansas, and it was sitting with the Eighth Circuit for quite a while. So when HB 533 was signed into law in April, it would only spring into effect in the event of four things happening. The number one of those four things was a decision in the Arkansas case that had been pending for 2 years. Well, last month, the Eighth Circuit issued their opinion. They removed the restraining order that was preventing the state from enforcing Act 629. So the state of Arkansas can now move forward on enforcing this almost total hemp ban. The word on the street is that it's going to happen probably sometime August, September, that they will actively start enforcing it. So if you're in Arkansas, understand that your time is short.
Damn, man, another one bites the dust. There goes another one down, pretty much. I mean, it's best as she's explaining it. So it's like Texas is going to be in a fight for a while. Arkansas just got the knockout blow. And things are changing every day.
Very, very short. What it looks like in the implementation of Act 629 now is that there's a 1 milligram total THC cap per container. And pretty much all synthetic cannabinoids, specifically Delta 8 and many others, are completely banned. So almost no intoxicating hemp products, or really many products at all, will exist after the implementation of Act 629 or its HB 533, its current version. Alabama. We talked about Alabama in last month's video because they adopted a pretty robust regulatory framework in May under HB 445. But there was a lot of confusion about implementation time, so we're going to cover it again this month. It went into effect beginning July 1, 2025, so it does fall within our timeline. But we did talk about it in a previous month. So HB 445 adopts a significant regulatory framework that requires licensing and packaging, labeling requirements, new THC limits, testing, prohibits online sales, drive-through sales. Everything now goes through the 3-tier network, and the Alcohol Beverage Control Board takes over regulation of this industry. There's a 10% excise tax on retail consumables starting July 1. There's an immediate ban on smokable hemp products, and the licensing process starts. All of that happens July 1. So July 1, excise tax goes into effect, immediate ban on smokable hemp products, and the licensing starts. By January 1, there's full enforcement and full implementation. That means all retailers, manufacturers, distributors have to be licensed. All lab testing has to come into compliance. All product packaging and labeling has to come into compliance. And all sales restrictions go into full effect. So I would say if you're in Alabama, or Alabama's a big market for you, especially if you've got smokable hemp products, if you haven't already stopped selling there, I would highly advise that you do so and speak to an attorney if you're unclear about what that means for you. And if you have other products you're continuing to sell in Alabama, start preparing now and looking at licensing and what other changes you might need to make to your formulation, your packaging, etc., to be able to continue to sell in the state of Alabama. Mississippi, South Dakota, Nebraska. These 3 states are not states where there's been a significant regulatory change, but in all 3 of them, in the last 30 to 45 days, the Attorney General has issued either a press release or made public statements about the legality of hemp products within that state. So in Mississippi, the AG made some public statements that, in her opinion, basically all consumable hemp products are illegal in the state of Mississippi unless they're sold through the medical marijuana program. Now, it's a public statement. It's not a press release, and it did not come from her office in an official capacity. But it should be noted that that is her stated public opinion. South Dakota, the AG's office did send out letters to companies that are violating the synthetic cannabinoid prohibition in South Dakota. There's some ambiguity in that regulation and in that in what a synthetic cannabinoid is defined as. So definitely worth taking a look at your formulation if you're in South Dakota or selling in South Dakota, and seeing whether or not some of those warning letters or press releases could give some guidance on what you're selling and whether or not you need to make a change. Nebraska, there was another attempt in the last legislative session with LB 316 to ban the entire hemp industry in Nebraska. It failed once again, and it's not coming back until 2026 when the session comes back in. Nonetheless, the AG's office there continues to make public statements and send press releases about their belief that THCA flower is illegal, that hemp consumable products containing synthetics like Delta 8 are illegal, and I would anticipate if given the option.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. When it be like a state that's not like, I wonder if y'all be thinking the same thing, goddamn. But like when it's a state that's not pertaining to you, bro, it starts to sound like blah blah blah. Like, not trying to be asshole to goddamn Nebraska, goddamn, but that shit's like what? It just sounds so sad. Like, nah, you can't have shit either.
They would take some sort of enforcement action against Nebraska retailers. Arizona, as you may remember, had the AG issued a press release back in March and a decree essentially that all consumable hemp products containing any amount of THC are only permitted to be sold through the regulated cannabis dispensaries in the state of Arizona. So you watch Total Wine and any other of the major big box retailers who are carrying, let's say, hemp beverages, basically stop carrying them in the state of Arizona. The hemp industry in the state of Arizona filed for an injunction. They filed a motion for a preliminary injunction against the state's prohibition. That preliminary injunction has been denied. So now it will go to a hearing. But in the meantime, the state's prohibition on those products being sold outside of the dispensary stays in place. That's your.
And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, that's like the craziest part to me because I'm noticing, like, all right, like if you look at it from a competition standpoint, you have what, barley and hops, right? Things that you can grow naturally, right? That you infuse into water, and we call it, beer. You know what I'm saying? Or you can take grapes and make it into wine, etc., etc. But the second you take hemp and you infuse it, right? And because like I feel like they understand the bigger side of the threat because it's a much healthier product than you will ever get from drinking just alcohol, bro. Like I know, like personally, I haven't tried a THC a infused drink or whatever yet, but I definitely do plan on it. I've had someone say that it was nasty, but that's that one person's opinion. And two, like I don't know who infused it and how they infused it. You know what I'm saying? Like they might have just been thinking that they were doing some cool shit and really like you did that shit totally wrong. So I'm pretty sure, bro, there's probably some good hemp beverages, bro. But nonetheless, bro, like I just feel like it's just gonna compete with alcohol, bro. Because like if you have something that's gonna give me a feeling, right, some type of feeling, and then it's not actually killing me, and it's not actually making me addicted to it. You see what I'm saying? I'm just doing it as a personal choice because I actually just like it. That messes up a whole lot of stuff, bro, for a whole lot of people. And just how like people in the hemp industry are fighting for a chance to just like have that door open, bro. There's gonna be some people who are fighting to keep that door closed, bro. Best believe, bro, because it's gonna cut and like there's only so much money in that pool. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna cut somebody's pockets down a little bit, and yeah. by the looks of things, bro, like they're not going for it. You know what I'm saying? So
Your update for June, July 2025. I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to share, follow, post comments if there's states you want to hear about or specific places you want to hear about. Put them in the comments.
alright. So pretty much that's kind of like it, right? I mean, typically I would say watch the whole thing. You never know if somebody says a little tidbit at the end. That's kind of why I was like keeping it rolling. It's like an extra 38 seconds, but you know that's up to y'all, bro. Like y'all know where to find her. I mean, she's like I said, Morgan Davis. I think her channel's called what, Davis Law, something like that. Davis Legal. So Davis Legal. Yeah, bro, check her out, bro. She has like a lot of great information. She definitely does a pretty good job of just keeping things like I said, very straightforward and crystal clear. So till next time, man. Out of here. So slow to get up out of here.